Right, I'm going to do the valve clearances. I've already removed the spark plugs. I think if you're doing this job, you'll know how to remove spark plugs. I will say that the front two plugs were not that tight. They weren't as tight as I thought they should be. But they nip up okay. There's not like there's anything wrong with the threads. They nip up okay. Right, so we're about to do the valve clearances, and if we look at what I've got marked down on the sheet here, I'm going to go in inches, so 5 to 7 for the inlet, 9 to 11 for the exhaust. Right, if you look at when you're doing the number 1 cylinder and you've got your marks lined up there, you'll see, if I can show you, see there, hopefully you can see it, but there's a line on the gear, and there's a line on the gear here, and you'll see that those are parallel with the top of the cylinder head. That tells you that this is in the right position, and you can see that the lobes are all pointing away from the cam followers, so you know that you've got your timing on the number 1 cylinder bang on for measuring the clearances. So what I've done is I've got a set of feeler gauges here that I've got all ready for the inlet side, so we'll do the inlet first. And if we go in with a 7 here, we don't get in. I've already done this, so I'm just right, we don't get in with a 7. If we do a 6, so a 6 is going in there, and it's not quite going in this one. So if we do a 5 goes in here really easy. There's no draw on it at all. So it's somewhere between that 5 and that 6. And what I've done is I've went and made separate feeler gauges just to make my life easier. So on the exhaust side, if I take an 11, it won't go in. Okay? If I take the smallest in the range, slides in no problem. No problem. Now I've already done this one, and I know that 10 is the size. I take 10. 10 goes in. Now all we care is that they're in spec. So it's number 1. Now if we want, we could go for number 3, and we'll get this side done first. Just gonna right about there, the 3 cylinder. Oh. And if we look at number 3 cylinder, we can see the lobes are all facing away. Yep, I can feel the lobe up the top there. This one's over, yep, I can feel that one there. So all the lobes are out of the way. We'll go for the biggest, which is 11. Almost the wrong side there. Won't go in. Won't go in. We'll take the smallest. So 9 goes in, and 9 goes in there. There you go, 9 goes in there. So again, I think this is going to be bang in the middle somewhere. 10 goes in, it's got a nice draw on it. 10 goes in there, and it actually feels a wee bit looser. So that's somewhere between the 10 and 11, and that's bang on the 10. So we'll go for the big one. Doesn't go in there. Doesn't go in there. We'll go for the smallest range. Slip straight in there. Slip straight in there. So we're going to be bang in the middle here with 6. 6 is in there. 6 is in there. Yep. Yep. You do this clockwise, by the way, just so you know. And I'll just show you a wee bit better on this one. I'll try and show you a wee bit better. You see there's, I'll try and get that in there. Right. So, if you look in there, you'll see, let me just see what I'm looking at. You'll see that I've lined up the T mark. In fact, the T has just gone past slightly. It probably won't really matter, but we'll put it back round again. Right, so the T is lining up there with a notch. See that there? Number 2 cylinder is the far away side. And again, okay, so if we look at the lobes, they're all wrong, right? So it needs to go another rotation. Yeah, but that would do. Okay. And if you look now, you can see the lobes are all away. Camshaft lobes are in really good nick. No worries with them at all. And well, I feel this one here somewhere. It's up there. So we'll start off with the biggest one. That's not going to go in there. And that's not going to go in there. So we'll do the smallest one, just to prove there is a clearance. And that's in there, no problem. And that's in there, no problem. So again, the valves are just about perfect so far. Absolutely bang on spec, which this engine's done 31,000 miles, and I believe has never had this done. 6. Right, so they are somewhere in between the 5 and the 6. So let's do the exhaust side. Start off with the slackest, and that goes in. I'm not in the right place somehow there. That's better. Right, so 9 goes in. 10. 10's in there. 10's in there. $11 is a no-go, and $11 is a no-go there. But you'll see that if we take the 10, it goes in there quite nicely. There you go. So that's all good for number 2. So now we want to get to number 4. Number 9's first. 9 goes in. 9 goes in. So that's good. Go do number 11. So when I say 11 or 10, sorry, 10 to 11, I mean 0.011. 11 isn't going to go in there, and 11 isn't going to go in there. So I think we're going to find ourselves bang in the middle with 10. Indeed, 10 goes in there. And a 10 goes in there. Right, so I'm quite confident that those are in the 10s. So we're now going to do the inlet. And we'll do the same theory again. We'll start with the smallest one. That should go through. It does. Yep, it's all good. No chance for that. Oh, the biggest one looks like it's going in there, though. Right, so I'm trying an 1/8 out on that one. That's not going to go, but 7 does. Right, so the final outcome of the valve check. I'm not going to be adjusting anything. These are on the verge of between 5 and 6. 5's the outer limit. This is the only one that's sort of out the most is this inlet one, and it's between 7 and 8, and 7 is the outer limit. So a 7 fits in it and 8 doesn't. So if we look at my markings here, that's a 7. So if you look at the feeler gauge, 7,000 is 18mm, right? Now I know the 7 goes in on that inlet valve, but if I try to put 19mm in, 0.19 in, by combining feeler gauges, it won't go in. So it is still in spec. It's probably that goes in. So you know it's between the 0.18 and the 0.19 millimeter. So it's still in spec, and I'm not going to be adjusting the valves for the sake of that. With 31,000 miles on the clock, I'm quite happy that my readings are good. Not a bad job once you get into it. Obviously getting the radiator out of the way has made the front end a lot easier. Yep, I've got a couple of really funky tools from Halfords. The trying to see where the carb screws are for doing the balancing. My God, what an effort that is. I mean, I'll make a separate video for that. But I understand. I found where the intake on this particular model, if you read the manuals, a lot of the manuals reference that there's plugs that you can pull off. But on this particular model, or this year, I'm not sure if it's after this, maybe the 94 model onwards gets the sort of pull off caps. But on this one, it's screws that you have to take out, and then you put in your adapters. But getting to the screws that you do the adjustment for the carb balance, because basically there's 3 screws, and if I remember rightly, you've got to balance them to the number 2 carburetor. Might be wrong on that, but I think that's the case. So there's only 3 screws because you're basically balancing all 3 carbs to one carburetor. But trying to find those was really difficult. But this thing here has got a lovely little light on it, so you can put a wee light on. See, Halfords. It was a tenner, £9.99, and I had my trade card, so I got it even cheaper. It takes a couple of 2032 batteries, and it's telescopic. Fan dabby dozy. What the simple things that make us men happy. And then I also, although I had one in my toolbox, I got this magnetic bolt catcher. And the funky thing about this as well is that if you screw it in, light comes on. Oops, blinded you. Now, how good is that? That was a fiver, £4.99. Again, I got it cheaper with my trade card. Superb. Really useful things to have. You just never know when you might need something like that. Anyway, that's already with this. I've managed to locate the screws. Going to have to think about how I'm going to adjust them and how I get into them. That's going to be another job. But that's basically it for today. I didn't get round to checking the bike during the week because I could be arsed. Next job is get the cam covers back on, put the new spark plugs in, flush the radiator. I'm going to flush the engine and drain the engine properly of the radiator coolant. I'm going to flush it with ordinary water and just get it all flushed. I've got new coolant to go in. I've got the radiator to paint, so I'll need to do that before I put it back. And I might also drop the steering head bearings before I do that as well. So these are all jobs on my list. I've actually invested in another whiteboard because I am a terrible writer, as you can tell. But that's just not big enough, that board, to do everything I need to do. So I've fitted a second one. You can see it there. With nothing on it at the moment, but I fitted that yesterday. Just to give me a bit more stuff to write on. Oh, that's it for today.